Dear students, today we will continue our previous topic, that was the causes of oral ulcers. The first disease that we will discuss today is erythema multiforme. It is a self-limiting hypersensitivity reaction characterized by target skin lesions and oral ulcerative lesions. And it is divided into a minor form usually associated with herpes simplex virus trigger and a severe form triggered by certain systemic drugs. Other factors like malignancy, autoimmune diseases, and radiotherapy can also trigger erythema multiforme. Drugs which can precipitate it are barbiturates, sulfonamides, and anti-seizure medications. It is usually acute self-limited process that affects skin or mucous membrane, affecting mostly young adults. The term erythema multiforme was coined to indicate the multiple and varied clinical appearances that are associated with cutaneous manifestations. The classical skin lesion consists of concentric erythematous rings separated by rings of near normal color. And other types of manifestations include macules, papules, vesicles, bullae, and urticarial plaques. It presents as ulcerative disease varying from abscess type lesions to multiple widespread lesions, as you can see in this picture. Lips, buccal mucosa, palate and tongue are mostly affected. And patients usually present to us with mild discomfort to severe pain, and it may even lead to headache, increase in body temperature, and lymphadenopathy. Stevens-Johnson syndrome is a major form of erythema multiforme and is characterized by crusting ulceration at the vermilion border that may cause immense pain. The microscopic pattern of erythema multiforme consists of epithelial hyperplasia and spongiosis, and epithelial necrosis is also seen. Connective tissue changes usually appear as infiltrates of lymphocytes and macrophages in perivascular spaces and in connective tissue papillae. Next is the drug reactions. Several drugs can cause oral ulcerations like bisphosphonates, methotrexate, which is used in chemotherapy, NSAIDs, and recreational drugs like cocaine. It can cause erythema, white lesions, vesicles, or ulcers. It can be caused by potentially any drug via stimulating the immune system. Reactions such as anaphylaxis or angioedema may also cause, which require emergency care. And pathogenesis of drug reactions may be immunologic or non-immunologic. Oral manifestations may be erythematous, vesicular or ulcerative. They may also mimic lichens planus, so they are also known as lichenoid drug reactions. The non-specific features include spongiosis, apoptotic keratinocytes, lymphoid infiltrates, eosinophils, and ulceration. Next are the contact allergies. These lesions are caused by direct contact with the foreign antigen. Erythema, vesicles, and ulcers may also be seen. It is caused by potentially any foreign body antigen that contacts skin or mucosa. Cinnamon is frequently cited in oral contact stomatitis. The immune response is predominantly T cell mediated, and patch testing may be helpful for diagnosis. This is a picture of contact allergy resulting in erythema and ulceration of the lateral border of the tongue. It is frequently seen on the skin and is usually uncommon in oral cavity. Materials causing oral cavity allergies are toothpaste, mouthwash, candy, topical antimicrobials, topical steroids, iodine, denture-based materials, etc. This condition primarily affects attached gingiva and presents as bright bilateral bands. Microscopically, epithelium and connective tissue show inflammatory changes, and blood vessels may also be dilated and eosinophils may be seen. Next, very important disease that can cause oral ulceration is vaginal granulomatosis. Its clinical features include inflammatory lesions of the lung, kidney, and upper airway, and it may also affect the gingiva when it is in intraoral cavity. The head and neck manifestations include sinusitis, rhinorrhea, nasal stuffiness, and epistaxis. Intraoral lesion consists of red, hyperplastic, granular lesions of attached gingiva. Kidney involvement consists of focal necrotizing glomerulonephritis, and the final outcome is usually renal failure. It is usually immune mediated disease, and it may also become life threatening as a result of tissue destruction in any of the three involved sites. The basic pathologic process is granulomatous lesion with characteristic necrotizing vasculitis. Necrosis and multinucleated giant cells may be seen in granulomatous areas, and the diagnosis is made usually by exclusion of other diseases, particularly midline granuloma. The next disease which can cause oral ulcer is midline granuloma. This is a rare but destructive necrotic non-healing lesion of the nose, palate and the sinuses. Biopsy shows non-specific inflammation which is distinct from the vaginal granulomatosis, and midline granuloma represents the NK T cell lymphoma, and the prognosis is poor, the disease is very aggressive, and the death may follow when eroded into the major blood vessels. Midline granuloma is a unifocal destructive lesion in the midline of the oronasal region. Other diseases that can cause such type of lesion, which are included in the differential diagnosis of this disease, are vaginal granulomatosis, infectious diseases, and carcinoma. Microscopically, this process appears as acute and chronic inflammation in particularly necrotic tissue with angiocentric inflammation as common finding. Next disease is cyclic neutropenia. The clinical features include oral ulcers with periodicity, infections, adenopathy, and periodontal disease. This is caused by mutations in the neutrophil elastase gene, and cyclic neutropenia it results in rare blood dyskinesia, and patients really present to us with fever, malaise, oral ulcers, cervical lymphadenopathy, and infection. Other causes of infective oral ulcerations are bacterial, viral, and fungal. Bacterial include syphilis, gonorrhea, tuberculosis, leprosy, actinomycosis, cancrum auris, which is called noma. Then the viral include the herpes simplex, varicella zoster virus, Coxsackie virus, and HIV. And the fungal include the deep fungal infections, sporotrichosis, phycomycosis, and aspergillosis. First discusses syphilis. This is a sexually transmitted disease by a spirochete, which is called treponema. And classification include the primary, which we call chancre. It includes the single indurated non-painful ulcer at the site of spirochete entry, and it spontaneously heals in 4 to 6 weeks. Then the secondary include the maculopapular rash. Oral ulcers are covered by the membrane. And the tertiary include the gammas and the cardiovascular and the CNS manifestations. And congenital syphilis include Hutchinson triad, which include the deafness, intestinal keratitis, and dental anomalies. Primary and secondary forms are highly infectious. Secondary form develops in 2 to 10 weeks, and latency period are seen between the primary and the secondary stages, and between the secondary and the tertiary stages. This is a picture of an ulcer at the lip because of the primary syphilis. It's typically called chancre. The other bacterial causes of the oral ulceration include gonorrhea, which presents with the genital lesions with rare oral manifestations, erythema or ulcer, and the cause is Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Next is tuberculosis. It can present to us with indurated chronic ulcer and may be painful on any mucosal surface, and the cause is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Next is leprosy. It is a skin disease with rare nodules or ulcers, and the cause is Mycobacterium leprae. And actinomycosis is typically seen in mandible, wood, hard nodules with sulfur granules, and the cause is Actinomycosis israelii. And last is cancrum auris. It usually affects the children which are malnourished, and it presents with non-healing ulcer of the gingiva or the buccal mucosa, and the cause is anaerobes in patients whose systemic health is compromised. So that's why it is usually seen in those children which are severely malnourished. Next are the deep fungal infections. Deep fungal infections are characterized by primary involvement of the lungs, Oral manifestations follow implantation of the infected sputum in the oral mucosa, and the oral lesions are usually preceded by the pulmonary infections. Pulmonary involvement of the oral mucous membrane is usually unlikely mode of infection. The deep fungal infections can be caused by histoplasmosis, coccidioidomycosis, blastomycosis, and cryptococcosis. The basic inflammatory response in a deep fungal infection is granulomatous. Macrophages and multinucleated giant cells dominate the histologic picture. Peculiar to blastomycosis is pseudoepitheliomatous hyperplasia associated with superficial infection. This is histoplasmosis causing chronic ulcers in the oral cavity. Other opportunistic fungal infections can also cause oral ulcers, especially if the patient's general health is compromised in immunocompromised patients. Like phycomycosis, mucormycosis is caused by mucor and the rhizopus, and the root of infection is usually GI tract or respiratory tract. In head and neck, lesions are most likely occur in the nasal cavity, paranasal sinuses, and oropharynx. Acute and chronic inflammatory infiltrate is seen in response to the fungus. Characteristic necrotic changes may be present, and fungus consists of large pale staining non-septate hyphae that tend to branch at 90 degrees. As you can see that there is a long list of diseases that can cause oral ulceration. So the treatment is usually cause related and symptomatic if underlying cause is unknown or not curable. And the most ulcers will heal completely without any intervention, and removal of local and irritant cause is very important for ulcer to heal. For example, if patient presents to us with oral ulcers and is having vitamin deficiencies, we will treat the vitamin deficiency and the ulcer will heal spontaneously. And also addressing the underlying factors, for example, dry mouth. So good oral hygiene is very important in the treatment of oral ulceration. Antiseptic mouthwashes also help. Then the topical analgesics if the patient is having severe pain like in aphthous ulcers. Patients should be asked to avoid spicy food because it's an irritant and it will further cause or aggravation of the oral ulcers, and psychiatric counseling is also important in these patients. Thank you.